Hey guys, so I'm here today to talk to you about the things I've been going through personally with the TTC journey that I've been going on. It will be 2 years for me in April. So I'm just going to tell you about some of the things that have been happening. In December, I was supposed to have IUI, but I ended up getting a blood clot in my arm due to the fact that I was getting a lot of blood work done for other various medical reasons, and I was going to the doctor a lot, so I was always getting like blood drawn out of these arms in the same places basically. And also for that month, my doctor, my RE, had decided to put me on birth control to kind of, you know, help my system kind of start back over from, you know, because I was on birth control for a long time before I started trying to get pregnant. Like I said before in the other videos, I've never been pregnant. I've never had an abortion. I've never had nothing. Like, I've never even had the thought that I was actually pregnant. So, you know, my doctor was like, well, we're going to put you on this birth control just for this month, so to kind of regulate your system, and maybe it'll get you into, and maybe it'll help your body shift into gear to help you produce some eggs and whatnot, produce more eggs. So anyway, I'm doing good, whatever. All of a sudden, because I had an MRI that month too, and I had to get injections, like two injections in my arm that month. So about a week after I got that MRI done, I started feeling like really weird pains in my arm. And I was like, well, it's a dull pain, so it's probably not really nothing. And then like another week or two went by, and the pain started getting really bad, and it started feeling warm, and it was just like so painful. Like, I was like, if I have to go to work today and I have to pull out my gun or something, like, I mean, but I was like, I can't work like this with one arm. And so I ended up going to the doctor, and I was like, yo, doc, pretty sure that I have blood clot, because I played Dr. Google before I got there. He was like, no, you're probably just dealing with an infected vein from all the blood work you've been getting that's been taken from you. So I was like, okay. And he was like, well, if your arm is still hurting by Wednesday, I had went on a Monday. If your arm is still hurting by Wednesday, then we're going to get you an ultrasound on Friday. So I told him Wednesday that my arm is still hurting, and he scheduled the ultrasound for a Friday. I went there. I was getting my ultrasound done. The lady kept making like these little noises and stuff. She was like, okay, And she kept looking back at spots, and I asked her, I was like, do you see something in my arm? And she was like, yeah, I see there's like a blood clot right here, and it's kind of a big blood clot. And then she thought there was a blood clot near my jugular. That's what really had them concerned, because they were like, well, you know, we'll try to figure out what your doctor wants to do. So my doctor was like, I think she'll be fine, just give her a blood thinner, blah blah blah. So he gave me blood thinners. I took that. So that kind of canceled out, sorry for a long story, but basically that kind of canceled out the month of December and January for me. For actually trying to have a baby. So those were my free months to do what I wanted to do, and I did. So anyway, with January cycle, was it January cycle? Yeah, I got my cycle January 31st. So January 31st, I started Femara at 7.5 milligrams for 5 days, and then on that Saturday. Was it the Saturday? Yeah, because I was in Disney World. I remember that because it was that Friday in Disney. I had to start taking Gonal F, and I had to inject that into my belly. And I'm going to actually put a clip of me injecting this medicine into my belly in the video, because I had to do this. Like, it's so awkward having to like put a medicine in your body at the same time every day. And especially when you're supposed to start earlier in the day, so then you won't have this problem. But I ran into this problem. So this is what happened. So I knew that I had already planned this Disney trip for my husband. I was going to take him to Disney World and Universal. And, you know, you're going to be out in the park and stuff. You're like having fun. You're walking around. You're not thinking about taking no shot at 6 o'clock. So, and that was my first shot. So it wasn't that I had to take it at 6 o'clock, but that's what time I had decided to take it, because that would have been a good time for me to take it for when I'm working too. So I won't have to worry about taking it like during a call or something. So what happened is that I ended up taking it at 10:30 that night. And then I had to take it at 10:30 every night after that, which ran into me going to work, and I'm on a call, and it's like, yeah, it was like a random call. Well, not like random, but I was over there for a while, and all of a sudden it gets closer and closer to 10:30. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, I have to use your bath. Can I use your bathroom really quickly? And she's like, yeah. So I'm like in there. I had to pull my shot out, my stump out my pocket, and like inject myself in this lady's bathroom. And I was like, this is so awkward. Like, if this doesn't work next month, I'm definitely gonna take this shot earlier in the day, as early as I can possibly take it, so I won't have to run into this situation. Taking the shots and stuff was not a problem at all. After the first shot, which was really dramatic on my part, like, I laid out. I was like, I told my husband he was gonna have to give it to me, and he was all freaked out about giving it to me. He was like, lay on the bed and I'll give it to you. And I was like, all like fidgeting and like jumping every time he got close to me, and I finally just got up and like stuck it in my stomach, and I was like, I barely felt it. So after that, it wasn't a problem at all. So after 5 days of gonal F, I had ultrasounds every day. From that Monday through Friday of that week, I had to go to the RE every single morning, 8 o'clock. Even if I worked till 6 o'clock that morning, I had to go and get my ultrasound and my blood work done, and to see how my follicles were going. So we started off with 37.5 milligrams of the gonal F, and then we worked up to 75 by the last by that Thursday. I was up to 75. And after that, he said I had 2 follicles. And I was like, man, I did a lot of work for 2 follicles, just 2 follicles. But then I think about it, like, I didn't really drink a lot of water that month. Well, during that whole time period. So that probably, that tends to, you know, water is the basis of our body. So the more water you drink and the more like healthy stuff you eat and stuff, the better everything is going to work in your body. So my body probably on struggle mode as much as I don't really drink as much water as I need to. But anyway, so I get there and I have 2 follicles that are ready to go. And he's like, well, they call me Thursday afternoon. They're like, well, we're going to need you to take this Pregnol shot. And it's basically like the HCG shot. And that's going to go ahead and tell your body to release the eggs that are in there. So I take the shot Thursday. No, I take the shot Wednesday, I think. Was it Wednesday? Pretty sure it was Wednesday. And then the next day I go in at 5 o'clock for my IUI. This video is going to be super long. Oh my gosh. Like, I just keep talking and talking. But anyway, so the IUI itself, with my provider, it costs $250. But my medicine only costs $50 for the gonal F pen. I had 3 pens. And then the Pregnol shot was $150. So all in all, that was like, what was that? $450 for this 1 month's worth of drugs and procedures. Actually, it was like $450, like $5, because the Femara is like $5 for my prescription. So you have to pay, you pay that and stuff, and then you go back there, you get undressed from the waist down, you put your legs in the stirrups. It's basically like every other procedure that you do like in a gynecologist's office. The only difference is that he puts like the little, it's basically like you're getting a pap smear, like they put a little speculum in you and spread you apart. And then they put a catheter in your cervix itself. And that was the only part that kind of really hurt for the procedure itself, was when they put when they open your cervix to put the catheter in there, or to put the tube in there that has a sperm in it. But after the IUI, like, the IUI itself did not hurt me. It just was like a little twinge of pain when they did the catheter. But let me tell you about this mess afterward. Like, you know, I didn't read up on the IUI before I got it. I was just like, well, I'm just going to go with the flow this time, you know. Sometimes when you read up on stuff, you kind of get freaked out and you kind of get nervous and stuff. So the only thing I really even did was look at videos of how it's done. But yeah. So a couple hours after that procedure, like, I started getting the worst cramps ever in my life. Like, I felt like my booty was hurting. Like, I was cramping everywhere. I felt like I was getting, like, the worst period cramps ever. And it was like every time I would stand up, my body would hurt. And we went to see 50 Shades of Grey after that. And I was, like, in torture every time I had to get up and go pee, because I was like, my body is just so, like, it was really, really cramped up. And people say that was a good sign after an IUI because your body's cramping up and doing what it's supposed to do for the sperm and whatnot. But let me tell you, that mess hurt. The after effects hurt. And hopefully it'll work. I'm currently about, let's see. I'm on cycle day 22, and I had the IUI on cycle day 13. So I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days post IUI, and I have until next, I'll probably take a pregnancy test next Sunday. So hopefully it'll work this month. My doctor really felt that our main issue all of this time was that the sperm wasn't getting to where it needed to get, and that possibly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what could cause it not to get where it needs to get, but he thought that this probably was the best option for us personally, because Jason has a good sperm count. I have good cervical mucus. There's really nothing other than some of the other medical stuff that I have going on that probably could have hindered it from happening. So hopefully this is going to be a good look for us. But he said normally, Jason asked him about like the success rate after we got it done. He was like, usually it takes like 3 to 4 times to get it to work. So hopefully, I'm hoping that we only take 1 time, because yo, you're like, those cramps was crazy. And I was like, man, I don't know what kind of medicine I take, because you know, like, you can't take Tylenol, you can't take aspirin or something. Like, it's one of them. And by the time I felt like Googling it, it was just like, I just want to go home. I'm just going to go home and lay down and go to sleep. And that's what I did. But anyway, guys, I hope you made it through this long video and all these stories that I had to tell you, because it's been a while since I actually talked to y'all. And it was just like up here making videos about all this stuff. So, bye guys.